Go live. I'm gonna give a quick introduction. There's your headset right there, my friend. All right. Ooh, sorry, a little bit of a tight fit. All right. Okay. All right. We'll get some confirmation from chat that we are live, and we will kind of get settled in and do this. We're live. All right. Wait for the commercial to get on. Oh no, no, please. All right. Usually there's a commercial that plays, and let's do this. Here we go. Here. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon and welcome to the first ever Motiga live streams in the studio. This is actually, I feel like Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's like you've taken your first step into a larger world. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
I am so excited. Oh, people are here to see Chris. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, we've got a great stream for you today, guys. We got interviews lined up. We've got a little smackling of lore
Yep.
because lore is really really important to me. So excited to give that a little teaser. Nothing big, nothing huge, but it's definitely a good taste. But
Yep.
I felt like for the first stream in the studio, we needed to build the building blocks of what is Motiga, kind of give you guys a rundown of like our history, our where we're going, our vision, and what better than the man himself, Chris Chung. So, I'm ready. I'm excited. I'm excited. So, Chris, for the people out there in Twitch chat and they don't know you, who is Chris Chung?
Sure. Hi, how's it going, everyone? My name is Chris Chung, and I am a founder of Motiga, and I act like I know how to run this business, but my title says CEO, so that's what I do.
Nice.
CEOing.
CEOing. And I'm not trying to get a raise here, Chris,
Yep.
but I've recently made the transition between community member to a full-time Motiga employee.
Yep.
And there was a point where I was at PAX South, and it was the first time ever meeting you. And
Yep.
it was really the time where I was like, you know what, this feels right. And it was because of the speech you gave at the banquet room rather. And it was just so heartfelt and so passionate. And part of my job is going to be highlighting our amazing developers, this family that you've gotten to
Yep.
bring together, and that's what today is, and that's what this is all about. So,
Yep.
Motiga, how did it come?
Okay.
How did Motiga come about, my friend?
Well, so I've been in the game industry for a long time. I started my gaming career at a little-known developer called ArenaNet, and it was the best time of my life. And I eventually became the CEO of a much bigger company, the company that actually acquired ArenaNet, called NCSoft. But I missed the time that I was when there were just 11 people working on this little game called Guild Wars.
I mean, I think some people have heard of it.
Yeah,
I guess
yeah,
I
yeah.
guess it's out there.
So as I was contemplating my life after NCSoft, I wanted to go back to that feeling, that sense of camaraderie, that sense of passion,
Yeah.
of creating something new. And so, you know, I I thought about what I wanted to do, and in early 2010, when I was working for a company called Tryon Worlds, I met this developer that was making a pretty cool MMO on mobile. And I thought, wow, this is pretty exciting. The market is definitely going in direction. I would love to have a lot more online games on mobile. And so I thought about creating a game company that would focus on bringing online game experience to mobile.
Gotcha.
I actually started talking to Rick Lambright, who's a longtime friend of mine, and said, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing this," and I was wondering what he was thinking about it, and we sort of said, "Oh, that sounds really exciting. Let's do it together." So that's how Motiga started. There's a little interesting story behind the name Motiga. Um, you know, when I read in a book somewhere, some probably bullshit marketing book,
It's like one of these. Let's get that one out of here.
that in order for you to have a global brand, your name has to be 3 syllables or less. It had to be easy to pronounce, and when you wrote it down, it sounded same in every language.
Gotcha.
Uh,
You know, it's funny. I bet there's
yeah.
people back home like Motiga. Like, I remember when you were a kid in it, like in class. Oh.
Yeah, and it literally sort of came to me at 2:30 in the morning,
Mhm.
as I was trying to set this company up, and and basically what we're trying to do is really bring multiplayer online games
Gotcha.
to touch interface. So multiplayer online touch interface games. So Motiga is an acronym for that.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But you know, since 2012, we decided to pivot away from
Mhm.
mobile games because I didn't know what I was doing in mobile.
Yeah. Well, that is the best reason why to get away from something.
Yeah,
Because you don't
yeah,
know why you're doing it.
yeah.
A lot of people don't do that. They just
Yeah.
go full steam ahead. I'm glad our CEO knows when to be like, you know what,
Yeah.
let's focus on something
You
good.
know, a lot of friends of mine said to be an entrepreneur, you have to be arrogant and ignorant at the same time. And I definitely was arrogant and ignorant about what I was stepping into.
Mhm.
But you know, I would work on these mobile games, but at home I would play on my console and PC, all the online games that I love.
Yeah.
So pivoting was probably the best thing that I did for my sanity. But I think if we didn't do that, we wouldn't have started on a game that's as awesome as Gigantic.
Right.
So
Right. Well, praise the sun. I'm glad it went in the direction it needed to go.
yeah.
So let's back up a couple seconds.
Sure.
Like, what was your favorite game growing up? Like, you came
So-
home and like, bam, threw it
Yeah.
on. What was that game?
So unfortunately, you know, my parents didn't have a whole lot of money. I didn't have a whole lot of money growing up, and even if we had money, my parents were pretty typical Asian parents, where no gaming was allowed at home.
Oh no!
So,
oh no!
so all my gaming was really in arcades.
Gotcha.
So I spent a lot of time like in arcades, and probably the favorite game that I've played in my school years was Defenders.
Okay.
I played ton of Defenders, and that was my go-to game. So
Okay.
probably spent a few $1,000s.
Oh,
In
It's
quarters.
you actually funded Atari and everything. That's nice. It's
Yeah.
funny. As a '90s kid, I grew up with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles in the arcade,
Yeah, yeah.
and like all the machines were like kind of falling apart because it's the '80s.
Yeah,
and 70s.
yeah.
So I was like, just please, just work, and the screen would be like fuzzy and like shaking out.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no! But I remember that at the skating rink. So nice, awesome,
Yeah.
cool. Growing up, like when you finally had some income, like what did you gravitate towards? Like what kind of game genre?
So I've been pretty religious first-person shooter player.
Okay.
You know, from Doom to Quake to pretty much everything that I could get hands on. One of the best sort of gaming moment in last 15 years, I would say, is when at the end of first Call of Duty. I don't know if you guys remember, but you play a Soviet sniper,
Okay.
right? And basically, there is the last mission is really taking over Reichstag.
Okay.
As basically, I finished the game, and the Soviet national anthem was playing. The sun was coming up outside of my house, and that was I still remember that vividly. And that
Everything
was probably
exploded, and you put on sunglasses,
Yeah.
and you walked away without even looking at it. And
Yeah.
Nice. I love it. There you have it. You know, it's funny, guys, too, because a little personal note on Chris Chung. We play the game all the time internally, and Chris is that silent killer. He's been playing Taito a lot, and I'm
Yeah.
like, uh-oh, Chris Chung is on Taito. This isn't going to be good. And it's a very good feeling knowing that our CEO can throw down with the best of us.
I actually had a perfect game today.
What?
11-0-10.
We need to get stat reports. Are we working on matchmaking? Is that a thing?
It's been a long time, but that was fun.
Good. Yeah, that's what I like to hear. Awesome. Great. So getting back to Motiga as a company.
Yep.
So we have some, like, I'm not just trying to get a raise, but also, like, we have some of the best employees here. And I'm
Yeah.
not saying that because I'm
Yeah.
biased, because I 100% am. But we have just such a great family here. You were talking about how you wanted to come back to that family setting of, like, the feeling of having 11, like, developers. And we have
Yeah.
a lot more than 11 developers, but
Yeah.
still that feeling of continuity and friendship is just there.
Yeah.
Last night we went out into Moxie's and played tabletop games, stuff like that.
Nice.
So
Nice.
fun.
Yeah.
How, as a CEO, did you come about making this family?
So, you know, the reason why I love gaming industry, and I probably won't leave the industry unless somebody kicks me out because I'm too old, is the passion that we have.
Hmm.
There's not a lot of industry where everyone in the company is so passionate about the product that they're making.
Hmm.
And you know, when I started Motiga, I wanted to make sure that we hire the best people.
Yeah.
And so
I slipped under the radar. Nailed it. No, I'm kidding.
no, I think we also wanted to make sure that we hire a particular type of people,
Mhm.
right? People that are ambitious, but also humble,
Yeah.
and people that are excellent at what they're doing, but also are team players.
Yeah.
That put sort of the need of the team and the game first. And so by carefully hiring those type of people, I think we made an awesome environment for everyone here.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. So piggybacking on that, so I'm young and I'm getting life experience everywhere.
Yeah.
And something I've learned, like in my short years, that more than two things rather, but two things really make the world go around: money and hard work. And there, of course, there's other things, but and that goes for a lot of different disciplines, a lot of different genres and everything. But
Yeah.
so it's funny too because in the game industry, like say we want this really cool feature,
Yeah.
and it's either going to take money or a lot of hard work. And being a startup company, money is always an issue, and
Yeah.
everything's fine. Don't worry, guys. But it's funny. I've been in these conversations where like, oh, that'd be a really cool feature, and then be like, oh, that would take a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
And I've left the office sometimes around 7, 8, 9, and I
Yeah.
just see our employees just chugging away, just working so hard.
Yeah.
And I turn around, a little admiration like glistens down my neck. I'm like, because they're just so passionate about this game, guys. And that's gonna be a bunch of my job, just showing everybody the passion that these developers bring to this game company. And it makes me so proud to be a part of something much bigger than myself.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely fantastic. So Windows 10 has been on the mind of a lot of different players. They're like, Windows 10? What is this? What's going on? Is it a trap? Admiral Akbar is screaming somewhere. But
Yeah.
but I during that talk that you had at PAX South, I was on the fence too because as a community member,
Yeah.
I was wary. I was like, everybody's been burned by big companies. It
Right.
happens. Takeovers, demolishers, and all that kind of shenanigans. But listening to your speech at PAX South, it was like a smooth bomb over a big concern. So how about we talk a little bit about what the Windows 10 thing, what's the Xbox partnership going to be,
Sure.
and really kind of highlight that.
Yeah. We are extremely excited about the partnership with Microsoft. As a startup, as a pre-revenue company, one of the hardest things for us is to sort of remain independent. Not only independent as a company, but independent in the creative direction. We
Gotcha.
wanted to make sure that we're making game that we all love to play.
Mhm.
It's not that we're making it for somebody else.
Gotcha.
Right? And so through the last 4.5 years of existence, I really focused on getting investment where we could continue to own what we create.
Yeah.
Not only own what we create, but own the process of how we create the game.
Yeah.
And so, we took on investments from Korea and China specifically, so that we don't have to give up our IP.
Gotcha.
These were potential partners down the road where we're going to be working with them anyways. We don't have expertise in Korea or in China, so sort of getting funding from those type of companies was really natural for us. And last year we had few options. We had additional sort of funding opportunities, but one of the things that really sold us to Microsoft was the fact that we were not going to change what we are creating. Right? There's really, literally, I think we have the most friendly relationship with Microsoft, and the other thing is we were able to basically not sell more of the company. And so, you know, uh, some of you guys probably know this, but everyone in Motiga is owner of Motiga.
Hmm.
And we wanted to make sure that at some point, when this company becomes big, um, we want to make sure that
Gigantic.
it's valuable for the employees as well as investors.
Yeah.
And so, not having to give up additional piece of the company to another investor,
Yeah.
and sort of getting the game out to a much broader audience. It was really that combination that made us decide to make the deal with Microsoft.
Gotcha, gotcha. You know what really impressed me too?
Yeah.
You know, there's been iterations of Windows, and it's no secret that some are better than the others. And it's funny, the first time we were talking about this thing down, we were talking about Windows 8, and under the hood it's actually, you know, pretty technically sound, but a
Yeah.
lot of people just didn't agree with the
Yeah.
interface of it. It just didn't really resonate with a lot of people.
Right.
And guys, since I've been working here for the last month and a half, I've been using exclusively Windows 10, and I brought a laptop back that was on Windows 8, and I was like, what is this? What am I doing? And I've been using Windows 10 here, guys, and and I was brought on it, and I will never lie to you, but Windows 10 actually feels amazing. It really does. It has its issues. Every big update has its issues, and that's what
Yeah.
we're working very closely with Microsoft to fix and go ahead and make sure all those bugs are ironed out. But from my standpoint and using it like every single day, I will say without a doubt it's absolutely fantastic for what I need to do, and it's just absolutely great. So
Yeah, I hated Windows 8.
see, so you just can't buy this kind of honesty, guys. You really can't. Like, we're partnered. You can't buy this honesty. That's the kind of man
Yeah,
Chris Chung
so
is.
No, Windows 10. You know, it's definitely, I think, the right step for Microsoft, and even the business model.
Mhm.
I think it's really right thing for the consumers. I
Free
feel
for
like,
2 years. I mean,
yeah,
yeah.
you know, Microsoft
First year, sorry,
lost,
rather, first year, right? Yeah.
Microsoft lost its way in the sort of Windows gaming for a long time. I feel like everyone at Microsoft is really focused on bringing the game back to Windows 10.
Yeah.
And it's really, really awesome to be part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, it's funny. There was a little known game called Diablo that launched for a Windows exclusive too. That's
Windows 95 exclusive.
that's crazy. It's
that
almost
was-
like going back in time.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't know about you, but I love our game is going to have cross compatibility with Xbox One and you know, one account for both systems, which is huge. There's none of the you know, you're losing your process, you're losing the money you spend on the game. None of that. Like, one account, one progression, like everything is the same, which is absolutely fantastic. It's a big step and a big opportunity for us. What really gets me excited is just sitting on the couch and playing like Gigantic on my off times, because I don't know about you, but after a long day of work and like I see my computer and I see everything and it entails like its own ecosystem, I'm like, do I want to delve into that right now? I just got off work and like just kicking your shoes up, playing a game of Gigantic, it gets me really excited.
Yeah.
So I don't know about you guys, but and again, there's this idea of like a PC Master Race, Xbox One, and there's some, you know, concerns that are warranted and everything like that, but just let it be known, we're not forcing anybody into anything at all. It's always opt-in, and that's very, very important. I don't want like misconstrued ideas like, oh, we're forcing you guys to, you know, hate each other. No, that's not it. We're just doing everything opt-in.
Yeah, it's mostly for, I think, situations where you have your friends who wants to play Gigantic, but they may not have a PC or they may not have a console. But our goal for crossplay is really, don't let the platform limit your ability to play with your friends.
Yeah.
You know, we're definitely not going to enable crossplay for competitive games, but I think the scenarios where you just want to play with your friends no matter where they are or no matter what type of machine that they are on. I think that's a very, very compelling reason.
Yeah, the lady friend plays Final Fantasy on the PS4, and I play on the PC, and it's pretty fun, and I'm glad like something that exists, and I'm super excited about the future of Gigantic and all things Motiga. So, Chris, where do you see Motiga going forward? Where do you see when you started your company on your first day? Do you see it matching the vision? Do you see it going completely around? Because I know it started off as a mobile company. Are you happy with the vision? Are you excited about the future?
So, you know, my goal for Motiga is to make a great company. but I think Gigantic is bigger than anything that I've imagined. I think it's much better game than I think I envisioned. So I'm extremely happy. You know, it took a sort of long, winding road to get here, but and I think there are probably winding road ahead. But I feel really positive for the company's future. You know, for us, the priority for the company for a long time is going to be making sure Gigantic is as successful as possible.
Gotcha.
And the other thing that you know I want everyone to know is we're building a universe here. Gigantic is not just one game, but there is going to be a universe around Gigantic, and there will be other stuff that are coming on.
Oh, that's a tease. Oh no, Chris. Oh, that's exciting. Oh man.
And then we'll also start other games in the future.
Cool.
But our first priority is to make sure that this game is as big as possible.
Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Chris, thank you so much for joining me. I had an absolute pleasure interviewing you. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Chris Chung, our CEO.
Thank you.
No worries,
Thank you.
Chris. Have a great day.
Okay.
You know, it's almost the weekend. Go
Yeah.
have some fun. I hope to see you in the playtests. All
See you
right.
later.
I know, we are a little cramped here, so we got to do this little shuffling around. Oh, sure. He gets out of here. Okay. There we go. Boom. David Reed's done. Oh, you're next? Cool. Ladies and gentlemen, we are not done yet. That was Chris, our CEO, guys, and we are going to have Troy on soon, but absolutely fantastic guy, guys. Again, there are so many times where I've just seen Chris like come out over to us, hang out with us, get involved with everything, and it means there's always been like these horror stories about us. Ow! Right in the chest. I was going to say something else. That's our intern. We're firing him actually today. But what I was getting about Chris Chung, there's always these horror stories with CEOs, but honestly, he's so humble. He's really great at our game, and getting to know him as a person, I mean, it's kind of revolutionary what we're doing, the whole crossplay and Windows 10 and partnerships. I mean, those are scary words in the industry. As far as our industry goes, everything is volatile. I won't lie to you guys and say, you know, everything is solid in stone, everything's going to be okay, because it's not. We're going to make mistakes. There's going to be bumps in the road. But having Chris Chung at the helm of our company has been absolutely freaking amazing. Absolutely amazing. Great guy, and he's great at Taito. All right. Well, okay, so we have David. Oh my gosh, it's raining darts on me. Stop. Oh, typical. Do something cool, though. Give me a gun. Give me a gun, and I'll do something cool. All right, let's see.
He doesn't flinch.
Oh, yes. Let's do something cool. Oh yeah, I like it. Oh my gosh, ladies and gentlemen, it's Scotch 30 on the Motiga stream. I love it. Oh man. Oh my gosh, it's David Reed. Here we go. Yeah, put that cup up. There we go. There we go. Is this our publisher? Wow, there it is. Here we go. Is that the man himself?
Which man?
The man.
This one?
Yeah, this guy. Are you ready for this?
We're almost ready.
Okay, we are almost ready, folks. Oh man, this is what I'm talking about.
Let's talk about what we're talking about here.
Let's always talk about what we're talking about. Apparently, I like it. Another.
This is not for interns.
Oh, this is not for interns. There we go.
So, it would be incorrect.
Yes.
To start without explaining what exactly we're doing here, because I know that I've been portrayed as having a certain proclivity for Scotch, which I do, but more recently. I've uncovered, having coming back to the Pacific Northwest, a particular distillery here in the Seattle area, actually called Westland, and that's what this is for people who are looking.
I like it.
And Westland is a Seattle-based distiller of American single malt whiskey, which they make in the same spirit of those who in Scotland make Scotch, but they do it in America, therefore it's not Scotch, because
Gotcha.
Scotch only comes from Scotland. So we do drink plenty of Scotch here, but I've actually come to quite like the Westland, so
Nice. Well, cheers, my friend.
cheers to you, Forrest.
Cheers, my friend. Like, I saw the name, I was like, Scotland! We're going to have a little bit of Scotland! Little bit of scotch on stream. I like it. Wow, what an intro. There we go, ladies and gentlemen. I'm excited. So, as you can tell, this is the more laid-back interview with the man, the myth, the legend, David Reed. David Reed, it's so good to have you on the stream.
Thanks for having me.
So, on a more personal note, just like Chris Chung, everybody has their own flavor, their own identity, and getting to know David Reed, it's been absolutely a pleasure. You bring a certain, like, I don't know, an energy to the studio that's just can't be duplicated or like just copied anywhere. I know I'm not trying to get a raise, but what
Well,
really
good, because
well, can we just fire to me?
that would be a way to find more funds. Yes, if we.
But what really spoke volumes to me is that I had a meetup in AFK Tavern, and we put the info out there. I just moved to Seattle.
Yep.
And we all got out there and started drinking, have a good time, and I really got to know you on a personal level. And I just, at the end of the night, I was like, man, he's a really cool guy. So, and continuing on that, like just having a Scotch 30 on Fridays where we just hang out and drink and just talk about the game, and everybody says, you know,
Yeah.
what happened during the week, you know, what's going on with you, it's just all that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
getting to know you, it's just been absolutely fantastic. One of the best.
Awesome.
One of the best. Like, people are telling me to chug this. I'm gonna
This-
enjoy it.
One does not chug Scotch, nor American single malt whiskey. It's a sipping. It's a civilized drink.
Unless you want a fast pace to a good time.
I
Oh,
mean,
no.
hey, sure, fair enough. But I'll certainly continue drinking. That's fine.
All right.
That's what we do.
It was
What
a
I
little-
do.
There's a little pep in your step. I
Oh,
like
yeah.
it. I like it. So, David Reed, you've been
Yeah.
in the industry for a very, very, very long time.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, let's talk about just who you are at Motiga first, though.
Sure. So when you say who I am, let's start with the professional side of it. I am the Senior Vice President of Publishing. And really the basic story of that is, you know, we trust Finney and team to deliver an amazing game, and so far so good. I mean, people love the game. It's absolutely one of the easier games that I've gotten my brain around and gotten other people's brains around about how to get excited about.
Yeah.
Our job with that great game is to get it in front of people, right? Is to publicize it, to do marketing, which is advertising, but it's more than advertising. It's the communication about what exactly is Gigantic, who is our target customer, what are the key points of the product that we take out, and that can change venue by venue, right? It's
Gotcha.
easier at a place like, you know, like a PAX or a DreamHack or what have you, where you have a much more involved and aware consumer than in places where people aren't, you know, in the bullseye and aren't necessarily updating their PCs with graphics cards and things like that, right? You know, a much more.
How do I
involved person.
turn this again?
Yeah, those guys get it a lot faster. So it's our job to think about how we bring Gigantic to market,
Gotcha.
whether it's, again, advertising, whether it's sales partnership, PR, community is part of that, graphic design and the web team and things. So a good, healthy team of people that are really on point for amplifying the awesomeness of Gigantic and taking it to a larger audience. And right now at this moment, you know, it's 40 days or so till E3,
Uh-oh.
and that's going to be a big moment for us. So that is a lot of what I am involved with and my team is involved with now.
E3. Oh, I love that
E3.
time of year. I remember being in, I think it was middle school. You remember G4 Tech TV?
Of course I do.
Oh yeah. Boom! I would come home. I would get a little nachos, sit in front of my TV, and be like, "Oh yes, E3 is on." My birthday's always around it too, so I had visions and dreams of going to E3.
Well, you know, maybe you'll remember, but my first real exposure with G4 Tech TV at the time was when we were launching the Xbox 360. I was part of the team on that at Microsoft, and we did this launch event called 0 Hour, where we basically rented out an empty aircraft hangar in the Mojave Desert and ran 72 hours of nonstop, you know, be the first gen of the next gen. People came in. If you could get there on your own, you were in.
Nice.
We gave out 3,600 tickets and saw a lot of excitement about that. The reason I bring it up, though, is because G4, then Tech TV, but was in the midst of that G4 rebranding, actually came to the event and just broadcast it nonstop from there. So that was 2005. So, you know, that was before all these internet-y, twitchy thingies started happening.
It's
And-
confounded, yeah.
yeah, back when I was a kid, you know,
Yeah.
and that was pretty cool. It was pretty cool to see that come together and see the reception to that. And I think in many ways what those guys did lead the way for what we see today, right?
Yeah.
You know, just as opposed to being the the perfectly baked television content that happens a lot of times, the sort of more organic, more natural, real, authentic stuff that we do on a stream like this.
Yeah, yep. It's definitely been a transition in the industry, especially how long you've been in the industry. Like the Berlin Wall of marketing has kind of gone down, and we are now like just it's live, it's organic, and it's like from the heart. And Gigantic's always been about that. Motiga's always been about that. And this part of my job is getting to highlight great people while they're running around shooting
Having
people.
a conga line.
Why are they having Congo lines?
You know, it's just all these people wanting to get on Twitch, and we don't let them do it normally, so this is their way. Yeah. Yeah.
This is what you give me to work with?
Yeah.
Oh man, this is it. This is daily at the office.
Yeah.
I
Well,
love it.
this one that was a little special.
That was a little great. You know, it's funny because somebody came on. They're like, I hope I get really great dance moves on this stream.
I don't know that you did, but you got something.
You got something. We'll work with it. Oh, I love this company. I love this company. Great.
Yeah.
So let's talk. You've been in the industry so long. What are some games that you've worked on?
Oh boy.
Oh man. And by the way, guys, David Reed has the best story. So if you do corner him in a PAX, Gamescom, E3 with Have At You, he has some really good ones.
So it's funny. I'll give you I think the first game that my credits are in is actually Rise of Nations from Big Huge Games.
Okay.
And that was the first RTS they made. Brian Reynolds as the lead designer of that, coming out of his work on Civilization and Civ 2.
Sorry, Ryan Reynolds. I instantly thought like, why Deadpool hasn't worked on it?
No, not that. but that was probably the first game that I think my credits are actually in, and it cracks me up because I used to joke when I was at Tryon, and we were working on the RTS game that we were doing with Petroglyph there, and we were coming up with a name for it, and I'm the guy who came up with that name, End of Nations, because it was all about kind of a new world order, and this nefarious group that had been underground had taken over all the governments, and as the governments collapsed, they took power, and I was delighted to see Don actually wearing his End of Nations T-shirt here, which at any rate, I used to joke, Rise of Nations was my first game, and I hope End of Nations isn't my last.
Yeah.
And it wasn't.
You're here again.
But yeah, Rise of Nations was first. Crimson Skies on the original Xbox. Counter-Strike on Xbox.
A little Counter-Strike action. I could dig it.
That was fun, and it was a great thing because that was an E3 where we had there were people on the dev team who had ported the game to console playing against a PC cyber athlete team back in the early days of esports. And the PC guys, who had been the veteran esports guys, were terrified that they were going to lose this big match because it was on the Xbox versus Xbox players. And as it turned out, they had nothing to worry about. Because I think in the end of the day, the realization there was it was less about the control and the input and the mechanism of the moment-to-moment experience, more about the experience they had of being a team.
Yeah.
And like you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this, go.
Gotcha.
They just rolled over everybody who played. So, but it was kind of cool to see, and that was a big game for us at Xbox as well.
And speaking of cross-platform, like we're doing something amazing here, and I'm so excited, so excited.
Well, and that's our goal, and it is like we said when we first announced the Microsoft partnership and talking about what our plans for cross-platform were. They very much are opt-in, and this is because we know that it is, even for those of us here in the studio, it is a bit of it can be a religious topic, right? It is something where you have your PC master race guys who
I want the RAM.
Yeah.
Give me the RAM.
they prefer the mouse and keyboard and the precision.
Yeah.
They don't like the fact that console guys get aim assist, but that is how console players play. And since we're talking about personal stuff here, I have learned that I've been a PC gamer for a long time and I've never had any problem in like an MMO, but in Gigantic I really struggle to do well, and part of that is I guess just gamers getting old, but part of it also is you're probably not going to be able to see it on the stream, but you could see this, Forrest. I
see you're married, and that takes a
that
lot of time.
That
away
is
from
not
video
why
gaming.
I'm not good at Gigantic. But I have this scar here from an injury that happened on my 18th birthday where I put my hand through a plate glass window, and it severed a tendon. So my hand is just fine normally, but there's certain things that missing tendon means I can't do, and pressing that W key at the speed I need to with Gigantic, again, doing it in Rift or WoW, no problem. Doing it in Gigantic, it's a little different. And so I am excited to see the controller stuff happen and to finally find out if I'm actually any good at this game or not, as opposed to
Gotcha.
knowing that I'm not any good at it because I just can't do that W key at the speed I need to.
Gotcha. I gotcha. To be fair, we've played against each other, and there is building blocks of greatness.
You think
with
so?
There
I
is.
appreciate that.
There
I
is.
really.
And when like so your aura and your personality, when everybody plays with you, they always want to win. We're like, we got David Reed, let's do this. So it's pretty
That's
funny.
not how it feels when I play. I feel like, oh, they've got David Reed, let's kill him. That's what it feels like in the office. Right? That's all fine.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So you like to travel a lot. I went to the office, I think, last week sometime, and I was like, where's David at? It's time for Scotch 30. And you were...
I was in Iceland, wasn't I?
You were in
Yeah.
Iceland. Like, because it was funny, because I went back to Florida for a couple days, and then, like, afterwards, we just, whoop, we're gone.
Yeah.
So, number one, how is Iceland?
I love the country. I really do. And it is a small place. It is a very communal sort of country, right? You know, people know each other very well. I was there for a conference. It was called the Slush Play Conference. And the Slush Conference is a pretty big deal in Europe. Got started in the Nordics long ago as an idea of a conference where, how would I put it, early stage companies, entrepreneurs would get together with venture capitalists, would get together with prospective employees and such. And over time, this has grown to an event where I think they had 15,000 people last year. So the idea was, we'll start one that is just focused on games and VR.
Cool.
Do this as the first one in Reykjavik. Small event, 300 some people. I was asked to be a speaker there, and you know, if I get a trip to Iceland, I usually take it. I've had a good time there. It's a lot
Well,
of
yes,
fun.
my schedule did clear up.
Yes.
Nice. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
There's a question in chat. Is Iceland green, Greenland Iceland? Is that's the myth?
There is some truth to that, but don't let the Icelanders kid you. Their country's not very green. I suspect that a lot of the trees were wiped out when the Vikings were building longboats and conquering the world. It is a country that is going back into a notion of reforesting in some places. It's not that there are no trees, but it's a lot less than you'd think from that story of is Iceland green.
Gotcha.
It is, however, a lot less icier than Greenland, as I understand it. And honestly, Iceland's weather on a day-to-day basis isn't all that different from the Seattle area,
Okay.
you know, latitude-wise, with a couple of exceptions. It is a rock in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and so the winds get pretty rough. And it is, because it's a bit north, it's not so much that it'll get cold, but it will get dark, right? And
Yeah.
so, you know, when you're in the summers there, you have 22 hours of sunlight a day, and that's a blast. And in the winters, you have 22 hours of darkness a day, and that gets a little old. So,
That's crazy.
you know, it is something that, being part of CCP, I learned a lot of expats, you know, kind of have that 2-year half-life, especially if they come with spouses. They need to go back to their home country because it's one thing when you're working at the company and you're involved in all the cool stuff that's going on there. It's another thing when you're the expat spouse at home who doesn't speak Icelandic and you're living in 22 hours of dark for 3, 4, 5 months a year. That's
Yeah,
tough.
I feel like Batman would be the only one that really enjoys that.
Yeah. Well, again, it's like if you remember the old 30 Days of Night graphic novels and stuff about the story about the vampires taking over Alaska when it's, you know, they could do really well in Iceland
I
if
feel
they
like-
could just get on the island, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So I asked Chris Chung this question. Where do you see Gigantic going? When you joined on here, you had a vision of Gigantic. Are you going to be, what do you think? Is the
Yeah.
vision kind of meeting up? Are they kind of parallel, or where do you see the future of
No,
the
it's
company
a
going?
it's in a good place. I mean, I think part of the truth here is my decision to come to Motiga honestly had a lot to do with Chris Chung. I mean, part of
He is great.
you know, I've worked with him for a number of years at NCSoft, worked alongside him at Tryon for a bit, and as I was leaving CCP, which was largely because I just couldn't do the commute to Iceland anymore. I mean, it's a long trip, and it's a lot of strain on the family, particularly when the kids are young. I was ready to take a few months off, and Chris and I, of course, have known each other for a long time, and he had talked to us a lot to me about, hey, you know, we're getting to that point, having a head of publishing, it's going to become more important. We'd really like to do this soon. And for Chris, and really only for Chris, I said, all right, fine. I won't take that 6 months, 12 months vacation that I probably sorely need. Let's get this done. And it really wasn't until I had spent more time here that I was like, holy crap, we've got a really good game, and we've got this amazing community of people, right?
We
And
really
so, you know, for me, it's not like I walked into it with my eyes closed on that stuff, but it wasn't as much a key factor of why I came, and as much as it is a giant, you know, big benefit of being here and seeing what the trajectory can be.
Yeah.
I think, you know, to your question about where do things go and stuff, you know, I've had the pleasure of working on some really exciting projects in my career, but this is the one that I feel is most aligned with the currents in the industry, right? I mean, a lot of times being commercially successful it's not enough to have a great product. It is about timing. It is about luck sometimes and things.
Yeah.
And we're in a space right now. This studio didn't set out to make a game that would compete in the MOBA genre, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know how many people know it, but Gigantic at its core was started from the idea of MMO endgame, right?
Yeah.
Where like I got five guys with me, or 4 guys and me, going into a dungeon, and we're going to go fight a big boss.
Yeah.
And the idea came from, hey, we all like these MMO endgames. Why do I have to grind up rats for 50 levels to get to that? Why don't we just go right to
The
that?
rats and boars.
Yeah,
Why?
so that's where it started, right? And,
Yeah.
and then, as Finney came on board and the team grew, it became an idea of, well, wait a minute, this is fun, but wouldn't it be more fun if there were 2 teams involved?
Yep.
And that led to 2 teams and 2 monsters, and now you have a 5-on-5 game.
Yeah.
Kind of 6-on-6 with the Guardian involved in
Oh, yeah.
Gigantic.
Oh,
Now,
yeah.
that, of course, over time, is something that you look at now, and you look at more like MOBA-esque gameplay, like a League or a Dota, or things like that. But that wasn't the idea. Now, given that we're here, right, it's actually a terrific space to be in, right?
Yeah,
It's a much more familiar moment-to-moment experience to a large range of gamers. If we were launching a free-to-play game in North America and Western Europe 5 years ago, it'd be a lot tougher to convince gamers.
Yeah.
But gamers have gone through that education process now and are familiar and are comfortable with the free-to-play model and understand it doesn't always mean pay-to-win. And in our case, it absolutely will not. This is a very twitchy skill-based game, and it can't be a pay-to-win game, or else you'd lose the entire integrity of what we're doing here, right?
Right, and that's super important. Like, so just me as a personal,
Yeah.
like when Motiga was like, "Hey, you should come work for us," I was like, first thing I was like, I will not lie to like the viewers. I will
Yeah.
not just blow smoke up at them. And everything that I've seen here, guys, is completely on trajectory of what you just said.
Yeah.
And it's honestly a lot of developers, and I know you've probably seen this too. Almost take their game and put it on a pedestal. Be like, oh, if anybody makes fun of it, anybody like talks criticism, they're like, oh, don't talk about our baby.
Yeah.
But if you've been a part of the criticism around The Office, we play all the time.
Yeah.
And some of the profanities and some of the people yelling, why is this like oh man, it is good. Ladies and gentlemen,
Yeah.
we'll be capturing the essence of that and screaming.
It is part of the studio life here.
It
absolutely
really is.
Yeah.
And I'm glad to say that us Motigans, we're such a critic of our game. And if it doesn't feel right, Joe's going to be screaming in the background, cussing at something, and being like, why is this a thing? So
Well, it is something where, again, this is a studio that largely is comprised of a lot of veteran developers, right?
Yeah.
And many of us, although this is our first game together, have worked on a lot of big projects over the years. And so we have a certain sense about what makes what quality really is, what authenticity is. And when you hire people who value that,
Yeah.
Over simple commercial success or a Metacritic review or what have you, it just engenders a different kind of game, and it builds a different sort of community around it, and I think that is showing. Again, it's the kind of thing where like there are a number of times where you look at something and how it's starting and you see it on a good trajectory, but you never know where it'll be in 5 years, 10 years, whatever. All of my instincts are that Gigantic is on that right trajectory to be a very, very successful product and to have a very, very successful community around it that loves the game and loves the studio. A lot of things happen between now and then, and who knows, but there are plenty of projects I've worked on where we did not get that far and we knew we did not have a good game, and now Don is finishing your whiskey.
Don just
so.
finished my scotch. I am
Whiskey,
sad.
American single
Sorry.
malt whiskey. It's
Sorry,
not
American
Scotch.
single malt whiskey. This is what happens when I put my drink down. So I was trying to get a question that Reddit asked for David.
All right, let's do it.
And I just lost my whiskey. Thank you, Don. This is
I could pour you another one.
you could, but I still have Troy and some lore to get to, so let's kind of take it easy. Oh man, that's fun. That is fun. Well, thank you. That's awesome. So
Yeah.
I was able to ask Reddit some questions, and
Sure.
I thought one kind of stuck out, and I was like, this would be a good question for David Reed. Corniv asks, my question is, how well is Motiga been at sticking at a timeline? How have you been keeping pace with it, going a bit faster, lagging behind a bit? If you are proceeding quicker, are you spending more time polishing it and going back to it, or are you pushing ahead to the next project in line?
Well, okay, so let me talk the last part of that first, which is are we going to a next project? And this is a studio right now that is all in on Gigantic. There's nothing else that we're working on. Of course, like any good studio, we'd like to think that there will be a future and there will be new games, but right now it's all Gigantic all the time. And even as we think about our expansion plans and going internationally, it is rooted in success in Gigantic, right? There is no, we're very careful about gating our thoughts of how to expand, both in terms of the size of the studio and going around the world with the game based on the success that we see. We are building the metrics to know, okay, now we're seeing enough retention in the game that people are coming back on a regular basis, that we can move to the next stage, that we can move from where we are now in alpha to where we think we'll be when closed beta begins, open beta, ultimate commercial release, and things like that. In terms of timing and such, right, I will tell you this, it is a studio that as an independent studio, we have had the flexibility, and the Microsoft partnership has not changed any of that, but we've had the flexibility of putting a schedule together that allows for us to make the game at a polished level that we think is imperative, right? You know, there's a lot of, there are a lot of faster development cycles out there for smaller, what I'll call shallow end games, right?
Yeah.
Gigantic, although at its surface, is a fairly straightforward concept of, again, I mean, I think everybody on the stream gets it. If you've been able to play the game, you probably get it within a few seconds of what the core is, the moment-to-moment action, the WASD controls. I'm attacking, I'm defending, I'm summoning creatures on control points. It's not hard to understand that, but there's a very deep level of strategy. There's a very important facet of teamwork there. There will be a bigger meta around all of these things that is different from a lot of the shallow-end games that are out there. And so for us, right, getting to that core of what Gigantic is something that was largely done before I got here. Where we're taking it now is a bit more of the refinement, of the polish, of the balance, right? We are adding new heroes all the time, and for people who are on the stream and are maybe playing in the alpha, there are far more heroes that are in development here with box art and gray,
Oh man,
gray
I forgot to
shading
print
and
out
things.
the ice cream man.
Right. So a bunch of those guys are in the game right now. We're always testing those and trying to do the balance there.
Yeah.
In the end, getting from where we are now to launch is a lot less about adding more features to the game and more about the polish of what we have and the adding of more content, right? New maps, new heroes, potentially new guardians, things like that we're thinking about.
Gotcha.
And it has led to something where, are we ahead or are we behind? I think we're right about where we're supposed to be. We've said we intend to launch in fall of 2015. We look to be on schedule for that. There will be a lot more precision around those things to come in the summer as we get to E3, Gamescom after that. A lot to do.
We have so many big events coming up. We have E3, we have Gamescom, so there's going to be more information that just kind of bleeds out of that naturally. One thing that I really enjoy about our studio is that there's almost like a no development part left behind. If we do move forward, we have milestones, we go forward, we're like, hey, this would be really good. But there's always accountability on what we put in the game. If something doesn't feel right, we're like, all right, everybody stop what you're doing. This rock sucks. Like, we want to kill this. Like, we need to get rid of this rock. And so, and because we play the game so often, and because we play all the time, at like 10:30 in the morning, we had our playtest this morning, and we play it all the time. So when people feel like, are you just rushing forward and not polishing things? I would say no, from my standpoint, because yes, everything is in flux. Yes, everything's being made, and there's going to be things and systems that get taken in, taken out, because this is alpha. This is, we're creating the game with a certain bunch of people, and we're getting their feedback. However, I do love to see that we're not forcing anything out. We're not breaking anything, but we will go back and take our time and make sure at least it works and it's functioning the way we want it to.
Yes.
So that's definitely a great moment.
No, it's very true. And once again, it is the kind of thing where a lot of studios that I've worked at, a lot of studios in the industry find themselves under exogenous pressures to ship faster than they would like to, right? And those stories may help with an accounting financial statement for a year end or something like that, but they never really result in a better game.
Yeah.
And I think you're seeing a certain level of care of what we are making and doing it well at a higher level of quality and rewarding the community for their input and their part of the process. I mean, many of these people are effectively developing the game with us here. Okay. It's just a very different model and vibe than projects I've worked on in the past. And it is important to retain our independence and be able to do that. It's just a great thing that we've been able to work with somebody like Microsoft who can help ensure the commercial success of the game, but not at the expense of the vision, of the creative direction here, of the authenticity of the relationship with the community. It's going very, very well from that front.
Indeed. And guys, we'll talk about NDA with Troy, but I do kind of want to piggyback on that.
Okay.
So I've seen, unfortunately, AAA games lately. Oh man, I've had some good rants about this, where they release a game that's 80 to 90% complete, and then they tack on the rest of it, maybe DLC.
Sure.
And I hate that
Yeah.
feeling. I hate that feeling. My viewers know that I just want to just punt it. I hate that feeling so much. And honestly, guys, from what I've played and what we have planned, like, we're not going to do that. And I can say that with 100% certainty. We are not going to do that because it just doesn't feel good. It doesn't.
Yeah.
It doesn't. To see something out there and be like, oh, well, I don't have this because, because we had to do what our publisher told us to do.
Right.
And we don't have that. We don't have that. We have a partnership, not a publishing mandate saying you have to ship the game right now because or we won't give them money. And it just doesn't feel good. And I'm so proud to be a part of a team that is definitely all on board with making sure the game's polished and ready.
Absolutely. No, it's going really well. And I think, I do give a lot of credit to the community on this. I do feel like there's a bigger part of the development process that the community around Gigantic and Motiga is doing than I have seen in other games. And I think the industry overall is changing dramatically on this front, right?
Yes.
I think there is a higher level of transparency among certain developers with their audience. I think we've all seen stories of Kickstarter projects gone bad where there was a certain sales pitch given that brought money in and then they weren't able to deliver on it.
This is going to be the last game you've ever played. Just kidding. 4 hours of content. Oh man.
and it's been gratifying to sort of like be working with people that we're not having that problem right now, right? We haven't, and in fact, some of the more involved people, whether it's on a positive side or a constructive feedback side and such, are actually people we've ended up hiring into the company.
Yeah.
Don. And and so that but there's a value to that, right? And doing it in the way that has made the product better, I think, is something that is important in how we are doing things and how more people are doing things. I don't think we're the only developer doing this, but I'm really proud of being part of one where this isn't a place where like, we hired a community manager who monitors the forums and checks the box for us. No, this is, as I've been here and working with Troy and you guys, right, I've sort of thought differently about how publishing overall should work and have put a team together here that isn't just the community team, but it used to be for me a world where community was part of the PR team, and now it's the reverse, right? Now I've asked Troy to manage PR and customer support and other things because there's a certain magic something that's going on in the community that I want to make sure gets through all the communications we do to all of our consumers across any venue.
Yeah.
And so far so good.
Yeah, and I'm not going to toss mud on any name out there, but I do want to warn chat that as we move into this new era of transparency, a lot of companies are taking it up as their flag almost, like, oh, we're transparent, we're going to talk to you and stuff like that. And that's good. Like, overall for the industry, that's really, really great. But I would like to think that we're going to be held accountable for our community. Like, when we say something, guys, and it doesn't work out like the way it is, tell us if you think you've been burned or something like that. And because I don't want ever to be a scenario where, like, you said this and now we're just kind of stomping on you, because that's not going to happen. If we ever do get to that point, guys, we're going to rely on you to keep us in straight, because we need to have a level, humble head. And I think the community, while it's not the best indication, but it is a great one, and I'm super looking forward to that, to keep us humble.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, David Reed, thank you so much for coming on to this interview. I really enjoyed it. And again,
Absolutely.
Let's get a little clink going on.
I'm dry.
Oh my gosh.
I'll share with you though.
Okay.
There you go.
Oh,
Take a sip.
there we
Okay. Let's not make it weird.
Okay. Boom.
Let's do it this way.
Boom. There we go.
No, I thought you were going to pour me some.
Okay. I mean, I can do that too. Here we go. Uh-oh. Boom.
All right, I'll take it.
All right.
There you go.
Well,
now we can do that.
Well, my friend.
And just remember, you can get great single malt whiskey in the USA. It doesn't just have to come from Scotland. How's that?
There it is, folks. David Reed, again, thank you so much.
Absolutely, guys.
This is not the last we've seen of David Reed.
No chance.
No chance. Not once, not ever, not now. We've made it through the Congo line in the company, and this is our second out of 3 interviews. Oh, we got a little fourth one maybe sprinkled in there, too.
Excellent.
So let me get out of your way and let you get out of here, and let's get Troy, the man. David,
awesome.
Again, thank you
Thanks,
so much,
guys.
bud. All right, there it is. I think uh-oh. Here we go. You know what? The drinking shenanigans aren't stopping. It's just gonna get more and more and more. I feel like I even have, everybody keeps getting like just one drink, and I have to keep drinking with the developers. This is not fair for me. Or is it too fair? We don't know.
Oh, we gotta fill you up.
Yeah, I get. Oh gosh.
I want Thor to be plowed. By
Yeah, I work at a thing called Motiga. It's the best thing ever.
I saw that.
All right.
Very clever.
Oh, right. You.
Hi, this is Tortiga.
Yeah, Tortilla. You're a bad little kitten and you've lost your mittens. My friend Troy.
Hi,
Oh,
buddy. How you doing?
Good, good,
Can
good.
I say congratulations on the first stream, dude? You are doing a.
you.
I was gonna say
Well,
something. You're doing a phenomenal job.
You know what? You guys make it easy for me.
A lot of fun watching. I've been looking at everybody in the channel. Hey, everybody.
Hey, wow. Oh, man, the hard-hitting question. Just kidding. We're going to have some fun ones.
Yeah, good. What's up?
Hanging out. This has been a fun time. I like your guys' Congo line. There was one person in the back that was just like walking. I'm like, he wasn't having
I
fun.
hate my job.
Well, let's get a little clink going on. We got
Cheers,
some fun,
brother.
We got some fun things to talk about now. Woo! Hi, Thor's friend Troy.
Hi, Riley Blackwolf.
Riley Blackwolf. He's a good guy. He's actually a voice actor. Nice guy. Anyways, Troy's shirt is great. I agree.
Thank
He's
you.
got a big heart. So, whew, how's your day going?
Really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been fun.
It
It's
has.
been really fun.
It
It's
has.
kind of cool to see the studio all hanging out in the kitchen watching the stream and
Right.
checking out what's going on. We're throwing an impromptu conga line. There were a
yeah.
lot of other ideas, but we settled on conga line. There's an idea about someone walking around in a towel and some other
Yeah, that's.
unfortunate shenanigans. You don't want to see a game dev in a towel.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to make my job any harder than it is right. Okay, so on that, like, my day was actually horrible. I had locked my keys into my car.
Yeah, that's right. And then
Yeah.
you spilled your energy drink all over the
Then my
studio.
energy drink decided to spew a big hole in it and
You
just
discovered a bald spot in your luxurious mane of hair.
I didn't do that.
Oh, you.
oh,
Oh, I saw it. I was
oh, man.
just kidding. He's not
Oh,
balding.
Anyways, Troy Hewitt, also known as Mo Aether, he
Mhm.
is our head of communications over here at Motiga. He's the man with a plan. He's the guy that brought me into the fold, and quite honestly, he's an inspiration to a lot of people. But let's get down to the nitty gritty. I've heard a lot of people talk a little bit about it. NDA, that bad
Yeah.
three-letter word, but also good at the same time.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, we here at the studio hate and love the NDA.
Yeah.
Here's the reason why we do it. The NDA, it gives us an opportunity to iterate undercover so that we can rapidly prototype some of the things that we're trying to accomplish around game features. It's important to not make that information public because what you see or what you learn about our game may not be true in a week.
Yeah.
You know, I've worked at a few game studios, and the development schedule here at Motiga is fast. And so we need the flexibility and freedom to do that without confusing people who aren't, immediately testing.
Right. So, just a little side note. I've seen so many review companies be like, "This is how it is. That's how it's always going to be, and this is your product." And like for us, we're doing so many different things,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, we have that little bit of a brick wall where we don't want people to really necessarily judge us because we haven't been able to kind of polish some game things.
Well, yeah, and I think that we have been trying to be as transparent as possible
Yeah.
As it relates to sort of the things we're trying to accomplish. Hi, Raheem. But for us, it's important to just give us a little latitude to do those things and to make some, bigger mistakes behind the scenes as we put all of our pieces together. The good news is we're talking regularly about when we want to drop the NDA. For us, it's important. We're putting together programs where people who are involved in our alpha, who have respected the NDA, who are streamers, they're actually going to get to stream before the NDA drops.
Yep.
And we just love to take care of the folks that have taken care of us, and so we're thinking about ways to make it easier for people to talk about what we're working on. And for instance, we just dumped a whole bunch of video for folks to slice and dice.
That's
and
true.
The goal there is to support some of the streamers who aren't necessarily in. But yeah, that's what the NDA is all about. It's necessary evil for us, but man, we're looking forward to dropping it.
It's good. It's good. And on that note, I want to give you guys an example of why NDA is so important. There are developers here. I can name any sort of names, but that just works super hard on a system. Let's take Progression for a second.
Sure.
Hargrove, he just works so hard at his desk, and
Yeah.
it's just he has this amazing system, his amazing ideas, and he wants to protect it. And NDA is our first line of defense against that.
It is, and I think that that's actually a really important point. There are some things that we're working on that we feel are fairly revolutionary, and we want to be able to develop those ideas outside of the public eye so that we can share some surprises with people and not have to worry that any of our other friendly competitors are snooping around our junk.
That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, I agree, and it would make me feel really bad that all the hard work that John Hargrove's done suddenly is out in the open, and
Yeah.
it's just a bad feeling. And while NDA is not the end all be all of systems, and we understand, I just wanted the chat to understand how important it is. And
It is important, but I do want to say that I know that it's been difficult for
Yes.
the people who are in our alpha right now, and for people who aren't in that want in desperately. I do want to say that people have been very, very cool
They have.
about the NDA, and while it's, like I said, a necessary evil for us, it's something that we're looking forward to getting rid of.
Oh, man.
And we've got tons of assets and information on the way. One of the things we're working on right now is a collection of, we have Mateo, who is our audio guy.
oh yeah,
We've got an audio library that we're going to push out to our fan kit that you are going to be able to utilize original tracks and all kinds of good stuff. What's up, Brain Down? And we're looking to push that stuff out, but stuff like that and other assets. So if there are things that you want to know more about or things that you want to see, hit up Kaboom on she's our social media guru. Goddess, if you will, and let us know what you want to see, and we'll work to get it out there.
Yeah, and that's it's so important because even with an NDA thing and NDA system in place, it's not going to last forever. It's not going to last forever, and it can't last forever. So this is our time to get our ducks in a row, get everything ready, get everything solid, and guys, when we blow the lid off this party, it's going to be huge. Like Congo lines everywhere.
Oh yeah, all the Congo lines.
Everywhere. And I'm excited. I'm so excited, guys, because it's part of my job is going to be bringing what Motiga is all about, what we're working on to you guys, and showing you guys what just all the hard work, all the hours, all the time at the office, and nobody more than us at the community team is so excited. It's
Especially us.
And so really excited about that. Really excited about that. Let's switch gears because we're hitting a little bit about community. Let's talk about coaches.
Oh yeah.
Those guys, can't get rid of them. No, I'm kidding.
They follow us everywhere.
I know. It's
Across
just-
the nation, across the globe.
Oh, coaches.
Yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about coaches. Where did you come up with the idea? Because you are kind of the spearhead of that system. And
So here's the great news. As a studio, we've got people, Chris, who was on earlier, and David Reed. They really truly believe in getting people involved in the process. So I come from a community background where, for me, it's really, really important to be honest and open with the people that are playing our game, and to really make sure that our development team is engaged and listening. Our game right now, as it stands in alpha, doesn't have a tutorial, and it takes a couple 3 matches before you start to go, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
And then there are finer tips and tricks and things and specific builds for heroes and a bunch of other stuff that you need an expert to kind of help you out. And so what I did is I shared with the community. I said, hey, we need helpers. We need people who are interested in giving back to the community. And I thought we'd get a couple, but we got a lot.
we got a hoodlums.
I know, I see that. But we got a lot, and I don't even know what's going on behind
They're
me.
crab walking behind
But I
us.
like
now
it.
you know what I have to deal with.
But I like it.
Oh,
That's
man.
no Congo line, but I guess it'll do.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the coaches were so phenomenal, and their ability to help and understand how the game worked that, it was funny. I kind of said, hey, what do you think about maybe bringing coaches to PAX? And they said, sure, let's do that. Chris was like, how many? And I said, 40.
For T?
Yeah, but to kind of go back in time, before we even announced what the name of our game was, we were flying people out to press events that we did in San Francisco to talk to our friends like IGN and a few other folks. That one of the people there was Darius, Tim from MMO Gamer, and or not MMO Gamer, I'm sorry, with GG Unleashed. In addition to Don, who we just hired,
Yeah.
is
right
part of
there.
our team now.
Right there, drinking my scotch.
Yeah, so we've met some phenomenal people who are coaches. It's hard for me not to get just a tiny bit emotional because they are beautiful, beautiful people who
They
have
are.
done an amazing thing, and they are an example, I believe, of how we can make sure we can build a community of people that care and love about the game and enjoy competition, but can handle not being assholes about it.
Right?
And oops, sorry. This is a T for Teen game. We could say asshole.
Yeah, I'm down.
Yeah. But the whole purpose of that group is not just to have folks to help us help other people learn how to play, but to keep us honest.
Cool. Stuttering. Okay, 1 second, guys. Toomey, can you get off your phone to check out the stream? Are we dropping frames, bud? Nothing? Stream's being laggy. All right, we'll find out exactly what's happening.
Time for a scotch break.
It's time for a scotch break. I can deal it. How many alpha testers? There's a lot of alpha testers. All right.
There's a lot, but we won't share the number.
Yeah.
That's none of your business.
Stream's having issues.
We're watching it.
I am watching the chat. 1 second.
You want me to scoot? All right, good. Well, now that it's just us, I'd like to sing you a few songs that I've written, original. They're fixing it. It's too much forehead.
Oh, we can do the fashion show right now.
Why?